Yes. Finally leveled the playing field. Never trust your sus. We define what's real. Shuffle shit, took losses. You know the deal. It was never an option. Let me submit. It was never an option. Skip a bit.
Welcome back, people. This is Don't Sleep on the Couch podcast. I'm your boy, Mr. Prez, and with me always,
it's your boy Cash, aka Exec P. Bonus episode. We back, baby. What's going on, y'all?
Yeah, bonus episode, Cash. First, before we get too far into it, for the new people who haven't heard of us yet, even though we got over 170 something episodes, even more with the bonus episodes, but this may be their first time getting put on. Can you please tell them who we are and what we do, Cash?
Easy money, man. This Don't Sleep on the Couch podcast about music, sports, entertainment, culture. Each and every week, that's what we deliver. Barbershop banter at its finest. Sports. Like I said, we get into the nuances of it, not particularly the X and O's, the shit that you want to hear in the barbershop. Emotionally based opinions, littered in a little bit of fact. You know what I mean? So that's kind of the conversations we have about music as well. I mean, it's all a feeling, right? You know what I mean? You can't argue with a feeling. And we just try to do our best to describe our feeling about music. This is things that we talk about each and every week before a podcast, 20 years plus strong as far as friendship. So if there's something that y'all rock with, man, tap in with us, man. And make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe. At this moment in the video, I need you to like, share, and subscribe because you got to keep the algorithming. You know what I mean? You got to share stuff that you think is dope. So without further ado, man, Prez, why are we here today?
Man, so as you know, we got the Classic series. So that's a series where we go back and revisit old albums. Some are, heralded already. Some are less heralded, but it's albums that we think, made a significant impact and are worth talking about or going back to or bringing your attention to. That could be for old listeners. Hey, let's go back and revisit this. For other listeners who probably didn't know about it, is put it out there, so they can go out there and know to search it and look at it. And with this one, we've been doing all albums, and we started off doing like 2010 plus. I think we 2000 up. We may have went back and did like another one outside of that range here and there, but this is gonna be something new this week. We're doing a mixtape because if y'all don't know, like the mixtape game kind of changed up at a point in that 2000. It used to be a bunch of freestyles, recycling beats, so where the artists didn't have to come up with the tempo of the songs, the hooks and stuff like it. They'll tweak it a little bit, but they'll still attack it from that same tempo. And then you had a kind of like a shift where you start seeing like artists start to use original songs and stuff like this. And this is where we even got to the point now where most artists release EPs or something like that. It's not using another artist's production and then just, rhyming over it in that same style. They're going to show that they can craft a song and everything together as well. And this is, so what we're going to talk about is going to be Fabolous, the Soul Tape 2.
All right, man, let's get into it. So that right there was the transformation. Just letting y'all know it's the Soul Tape 2. Man, just this mixtape thing, Prez, man. I really think that this mixtape came at a time, right, where we were thinking like, hey, we've heard a lot of the freestyles. We haven't heard, not that you haven't heard Fab in a while, but you heard Fab do what Fab does as far as give you the hits. We know he could do that. Say what you want, and we'll kind of get into that. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, but he had the hits. But we were looking for something like this for a long time from Fab, just based on what he gave us off the mixtapes. So here we are with Soul Tape 2, man. I mean, it's a 3-part series. You know what I mean? So, but we chose number 2, man. What made you want to choose Soul Tape 2 out of all of the Soul Tapes we could have chosen from?
Because I felt like the first one was kind of testing the waters a little bit, in the series to see if people gonna kind of like it. It was going still in a similar lane, but not so much. Like his albums, his studio albums, they had hits and everything, but I mean, it was kind of starting to follow very formulaic as most studio albums kind of do. This one let him, find his little lane and stay in it for a short amount of time, give everybody exactly what it like, very concise, and where you could love like every part of the series. So the first one was testing it out, which I think got good reception. That's the reason he came back along with the second one. And the second one is just like realizing, this can work. This is me like, I'm going to really like, try to take this elevate this up. You know what I mean? So that's kind of where I was going. And this was where he said, like, I think perfect track transformation coming on to it. It's 12 tracks on this one. First one, transformation. That first line up in there. If you've been following the series, he started off with Tupac, speaking a little bit on the first Soul tape, but the first line up in there is the same first line that he used on the Soul tape one. But this was with Biggie speaking at first before he went into that first line. It's like, I'm old enough to know better, young enough not to give a fuck. Rather hold my head high than die and live and duck. Right? So both Tupac was spitting a little bit of knowledge, and then here come Biggie, spitting a little bit of knowledge too, talking about like, two people can tell you the same thing, but it's still basically and you can rock with both. And you got to kind of choose. We get in that whole thing of who's the GOAT, who's the greatest, whatever, but they both, speaking truth and on the track, and I think same type of message. And I felt like that kind of went right into it. I don't know if you had caught that.
Not really. I didn't catch that outside of just the significance of it. But what I did catch is just like this, like you said, it was testing the waters on part one. Part two felt like an album in mixtape form. You know what I mean? There's hooks in there, there's bars in there, but I just feel like he brought it together holistically in part two. And that's kind of what I was that catapulted it to the front for me, man. Like, I think we instantly agreed to Soul Tape 2. It wasn't like really a debate. You know what I mean? I just think because this could have been an album had they really put their heads together and just said, look, this is what we're going to do. We're going to pay for these samples and we're going to make a bunch of records and whatever, 13, 12, make it. And again, you said in a short amount of time, it's like 30-minute albums. That's kind of what we grown to love. And it's 12 songs, right? If I'm not mistaken, on this joint. So yeah, man, this is just a great tape overall, man, and I can't wait to get into it, man.
Yeah, so like on this one, I told you how he opened up, but I felt like early on in this tape, which we're at right now, it was him, highlighting his skills. You know what I mean? Fab continued like just coming out there, just killing it. So, and then he slowly like leans into like going more of the soulful type, even more soulful type beats and R&B songs later on in the track and everything. But on this one, I mean, he had the line, "Black hoodie, I pulled a Quattro Cinco out it, put that iron to your clothes," and I'm tapping. Yeah, you know what line I'm talking
about. Yeah, I got you. I got Rap Genius. I got Rap Genius up right now. You know what I'm saying? So we can get right to it, man. We ain't got
to do that. You can just play that little part. Play that little part.
Well, you want me to play Transformation?
Yeah, that Black hoodie. I pulled a Quattro Cinco out of it. Black hoodie, I pulled a Quattro Cinco out of it, put the iron to your clothes, and like I'm taking the wrinkles out of it. That little part up in there, you know what I mean? Just that's the way Fab being Fab, using the bars eloquently, you know what I mean? So and he kind of, we used to get on Fab. Fab used to use a lot of like relevant stuff to that times that a lot like that plays in his songs. So sometimes like when you go back to his older music, it sound dated because he used a lot of like specific references and stuff.
Yeah, current event bars.
Yeah. But on this one, like he didn't do that. Even after that line, he was talking about, take the Franklin Grant Jackson and Lincoln out of it. You know what I mean? So he was kind of using, still like doing a couple of name drops and stuff like this, but something that sticks, that has more staying power to it. Money ain't gonna change, right?
Sure. And like Transformation as a lead off track to it is a lot of these producers, some of them, you guys that are like super duper into production or whatever may know. But a lot of them I remember being at the time, like I ain't know a whole lot of their background or whatever. So Transformation came on and I was like, oh shit, like this sounds like an intro to a movie, type of deal. You know what I mean? And it's fitting the Soul Tape vibe with the spotlight, the Apollo. You seen the cover and things of that nature. So, I mean, he came on there spitting typical Fabolous bars, you know what I mean? And kind of to end that off, you know what I mean? He kind of was like, just, and we chill, loaded up the steel, but I wish a nigga would, but no, a nigga will. But for real, how good as you feel? But soon as a nigga good is as soon as a nigga will, and we don't owe these niggas nothing, I put that on my nigga will. You know what I mean? So it's like little intricate lines like that Fab would kind of throw out there to where it's not like overly metaphorical or anything like that, but he just like saying just some dope shit. And then he kind of leaves the record And then now we on to, track
The
number
next
2,
one.
For the
Track
Love.
number 2, For the Love, and this one produced by like a Street Runners beat in the background. For the Love, it immediately grabs your attention when he does the lines. Being broke ain't a joke. I'm too comical. 7 digits, nigga, 2 commas. So, like so,
Yep.
yeah. So like immediately like grabbed my attention because. He always had those little punchline, little bars and stuff that's gonna kind of grab you in a little bit, and him sprinkling those out early on through the tracks, man, was a good.
Yeah, and then like the whole like bad, like he was doing that. I like him misbehaving, like all of them, like them lines, and then like that's kind of when he started with the little thing with the nice, like
Nice.
yeah, he was
Yeah,
just
yeah, yeah.
he was doing that type
Yeah.
of thing in there, and you know what I mean, and it started out. He said it started out wanting more money, and the stick crash, pull that hammer like a camera. You don't want to see want to face the flash because you'll lose one of your sons and there's no replacing Nash. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like
Yeah,
shit
one of your
like that.
sons, no replacing Nash.
Yeah, shit like
Yeah,
that
yeah.
that Fab was doing at the time, to where you like that's classic Fab bars, you know what I mean, in terms of just being witty with it, you know what I mean? So he had that all littered throughout. For the
Yeah,
Love.
yeah,
For the
yeah.
Love is
I think he had
arguably,
one up there where he was talking about squares and triangles, and you know, you rewind those 2 lines, you'll get yeah. So
yeah. So yeah, I mean it's a lot of quotables up in here, and again, like not overly complicated, fun. Fab got that. You remember when he first came out? A lot of people compared him to Maze, and just with the flow, the voice, the sound, or whatever, just with that real good pace. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And that's kind of how For the Love was for me. So, and yeah, I like this one a lot. Like probably one of my favorite records off of
Yeah,
this
yeah, yeah.
entire project, like hands down. As I go back to it, I probably always play this one if I'm just doing a quick, Fab rundown. This one to get the run if I had to choose, between a quick one. So, I mean, anything else on For the Love?
No. Like I said, that's when that nice start coming in like heavy, and you start doing that. And I mean, I still say it that way. Just that's immediately what popped in my
Nice.
head. Like when I
Yep,
said
yep.
that. But next song up, we had BITE, bitch, I'm trying to
Man.
eat.
Yeah.
This was like rappers always try to throw out a new saying or something up in there, and then this is part of the moment, little thing. And I know, like this was him trying to catch a saying on going on there. He's trying to get a little thing. So, felt like the song was good, man. It was a good one, man. So, uh, Biggie over the on the chorus, and then what you trying to say, bitch, I'm trying to eat. So just constantly going to get the money.
Yeah, and again, like with the Biggie reference to kind of start off the album or mixtape, so to speak, and kind of coming back with Biggie in this song as far as just like a little light little touches on there. I thought it was fire, man, and kind of talking about Park Place and all these different type of little small little lines to where
Mhm.
kind of where Biggie grew up around and stuff like that. So I thought it was fire, you know what I'm saying? And then like the T-bone line and the extra cheese with the T-bone. Like he was, in
The
it
bar I like the best on here was like new niggas since diapers. Well, I guess shit changed.
Yeah, I like the this is like when he started talking about to take some hustle and some muscle, make a meal, call it success. Now I know, now I ain't say you gonna duck stress. I ain't say it don't come with pain. Couple losers gonna come with game. You know what I mean? They ain't eating, got stomach pains. They calling you, but your number changed. You know what I mean? Like, and then he went on that whole little run of bars. So it's like little stuff like that to where when cats is talking real shit, it don't have, like I said, it don't have to be overly intricate. It just has to be relatable and things that everybody can
Delivery got to
understand.
be that cash. We've been talking about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Delivery. So things that we kind of hit on these only the classic series, man, is the intro, which I think he nailed, transformation, and then everything's got to be delivered to a point where, hey, so far we into it, going on the third song, no skips out of it. Get to the next one. This is like when he's tried to this is like where now you're getting a slow switch, getting a little bit more. So got the We Get High. Up in here, just a smooth sample, him flowing over this one. Another one that's like, man, I like how he how he flowed into this one. Just gave you up front for the people who's there who attached to old Fab, and hey, Fab come with the witty bars and everything, and now he's slowly transitioned into like a different area and bring you along the journey for it. So we get high. So
Yeah, and we get high for me. Prez was just like one of them ones where I'm like, all right, he gave me 3 straight joints that I liked a lot. I could use a change of pace. It don't have to be my favorite
mellows
song.
it out.
You know what I mean? It just levels everything out because I don't know how many people really rock with We Get High. I don't hear a lot of people talk about that song in particular, but I don't hear a lot of people badmouth it either. So if
No,
it
no, no,
fits,
no.
yeah, if it fits in the tempo of a project, keep it in there because you gotta have sometimes you gotta have that change of pace song similar to like a 6-man off the bench on your roster where that guy
Yeah,
comes in, spells you for a little bit. You know what I mean? He ain't gonna do the work of a starter, but he gonna come in there and change the pace up, get you
yeah.
right where you need to be, and then you get right back to the next song.
Yeah, and
Ah,
then that's when like it ended giving you a little taste of what was next to come, because he ended like mentioning Rihanna, and then now goes into the next song, Diamonds. Like he like in his bars, he was mentioning Rihanna, and then like he didn't stay long after that. Go straight into the next one, Diamonds. Hitting off one of Rihanna's top songs on there and having that going in the background, and then say, uh, and just continue to slow down the flow a little bit, bring you into a little zone. Now you in the type of music that you can play with your girl in the car and everything. Ain't nobody gonna be upset and stuff like this. So yeah,
and that's what Fabolous does an excellent job of. Regardless of whether it's mixtape or album, he's gonna give you a well balanced effort. You know what I mean? And it'd appeal to everybody. And that's essentially what he did with Diamonds. Like these We Get High, Diamonds. This is the all right, man. I ain't gonna bar your head off. I'm gonna give you some witty, slick bars, but I'm also gonna give you some good music because I understand while this is a mixtape and I'm giving the people what they want. I still got to cater to the fan base that may find it that don't necessarily come to me for just the bars. They come to me for the hits. So I think he
yeah,
found a happy medium there. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah, yeah. So number 6 was Guess Who's Back, and
Now we
this one,
back to the bullshit. Yes.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And this one now, now we're doing to like going to the old songs again. This is like the old school mixtape style. Like on bar this song for Jay, but I mean, this was Jay, Scarface, and Beans on it. So you gotta come with it if you're gonna add to this. If
Tall
you're gonna have this
task,
out there.
man.
And I think Fab actually, held his own. And then who he had this first feature at this point with Broadway. I don't know who this guy was, but I mean, he floated on the song, so it didn't seem out of place and everything. And he came with it too. So another nice track. He at the end of his Fab verse, I remember he used a little bit of like the J lines and stuff like that, but added his little flavor to it. So, yeah, but he ain't trying to totally shift. He's getting you a little taste and letting you know this is how the new EPs and stuff gonna work. But at the same time, hey, if you was here for one of those old style mixtapes, then I could still do that too.
Right. And then like one of the lines where you said it kind of likened to Jay was like, face it, y'all bitches playing basic ball, but then you block you block it like you're 8 feet tall, homie. You know what I mean? Like just little
Mhm.
stuff like that. Hoodie up, rest your soul, Trayvon. I'm on that cool shit. I guess who's Bizak. You know what I mean? Like so it's
Yeah,
like stuff like that to where,
man.
you know, damn,
That
Trey,
was 2012, bro. That seems so
yeah,
that damn.
bro.
That was long ago. Trayvon.
10 years, bro. 10
Oh
years.
man.
10 years, man. So, just that line kind of brought me back kind of like into what you were saying about the current event bars and things like that to where it was like, damn, some of the stuff I used to give him shit for. And is him, Game, and a few others do it to where they do the current event bars to, give you the shock and all. But like then listening back to it, it is kind of like a catching up on time or just where you was in time based on what was being, spat. So I think that was a dope song. And I like that he didn't approach it from trying to bar it up. It was just more so he kind of stayed in pocket like Jay and Scarface did on the song. So I appreciated it for that aspect, you know what I mean? And I like the small, subtle changes they did into the production.
So that was his first feature, but that was by far from his last. You start getting more features sprinkled out there. So he gave you him at the beginning of the tape, and now he's going to start having a couple features on here. And to the point where this one, next one up, Louis Vuitton with J. Cole. J. Cole started off with 2 verses. And, just talking about the song is about, you want to play a little bit of it?
Yeah. We gonna get to Louis Vuitton, man. We got
Because this is early J. Cole too, you know what I mean? Like he was messing with him early on here, and then just putting them out there. And I think J. Cole came with it and killed this whole little portion. So go ahead.
Yeah, I'm gonna let it rock out. Give me a second. Now that's Louis Vuitton. That is Louis Vuitton. Yeah. These boys, the double time flow press.
Yeah.
What more did you need off this track, man? Like good hook.
This was perfect, man. And like I said, the subject matter, just the girls who will try to get you still in the life. You know what I mean? If you out there spending, there's someone that's gonna find you and make sure you spend. You got to be careful what you say. And I think, like, even to the point where in Fab final verse where he's sitting there, he's like, "Hey, you got to play this game with her. Don't drive her nowhere. You got to tell her to meet you at the bar and stuff like this." And he thought he had it, and it's just like, he said, but then I said, "Let me buy you a drink, whatever." And she was like, let me get that Louis, and that's $150 a shot. Man. We get a double shot at the Louis. So still got him. So great way to end it.
Smooth as hell. Cole set it up with just kind of taking it to the church girl turning into a freak. You know what I mean? We've all been there and had those girls that never been off the porch, and as soon as they get off the porch, it's crazy. But I mean, I like it, man. It's a lot like a gold digger type song, but it's in that vein, and I fucks with it, man. Like the flows on there, and they in pocket. It got a little bop, little rhythm. It's showing some range. Both of them have done that prior to this particular collab, but I love when artists can switch it up and flows flawlessly. You know what I mean? As far as just being able to do different things and rap in different pockets. So, fire track. Probably again, this is the second time, third time for the love bite. And then I'll go with this one as just what I return to often on this project.
And then the next one, Life is So Exciting, featuring Pusha T.
My man. The guy that can do no wrong. Rap about dope as long as you can.
And Pusha T was doing Pusha T. You know what he's going to rap about. And Fab knew exactly what he was going to talk about. So, hey, he kept it on, glamorizing the life. The life is so exciting. You know what I mean? That's the things that inspire you and get you. And he just painting that picture so perfect. Just like, out partying and the women, fly new girl out, fly one out over here. You know what I mean? And then when it comes to Pusha, he starts off on that angle, but then starts telling you about a little bit about the cocaine again.
Honestly, sometimes like artists could paint a picture so vivid, or maybe it's just my imagination or what I feel. All I can see is Scarface. Like, I could feel like this song could have been on a. I mean, I know Scarface came out when it came out, but I feel like this is what they was trying to capture when they talking about the life is so exciting. Getting fast money, getting nice cars, getting women, and just how enticing it is. And just, of course, they were talking about the highlights of slinging drugs and shit like that. But, hey, man, if they not doing it no more, I mean, why not rap about it? You know what I mean? I'd rather have them rapping about it instead of doing it. You know what I mean? But this is right up my alley, man. Like the momentous shift on this project at this point where they're just doing dope things, and Pusha T feature right after J. Cole is like bang bang right over the head with it. You know what I'm saying? This is a dope record. You know what I mean? And I don't know if this is the first time that these guys collab. In memory, they probably collab before that. I gotta believe they have, but yeah,
I don't know. I had to do a little bit of research. You threw me off there. I wasn't going down that lane, but. Number 9, Only Life I Know. Him going in this, like, hey, this is all I know. All I know how to do is like get this money, go chase it. You know what I mean? So straightforward lines, but they all hit on this one. You know what I mean? Like it was more like just smooth, nothing like overly complicated. Where you gotta like trying to find the double entendre and stuff like this. It wasn't too many just straight lines. Smooth ass track.
Yeah, man. For me, it's Troy Ave. At the time, I was fucking with Troy Ave heavy. He had a nice little buzz. It might be the biased Brooklyn in me, but I kind of like his simplistic approach to music. Way back at the time in 2012, Bricks in My Backpack. That whole series was my shit. Again, as y'all can see, I'm biased to drug music and shit like that. I've never sold it a day in my life, nor would I admit it on camera. But that's the shit that I'm into. And when the guys are talking about shit like that, you don't ever need to be deep in the weeds on that type of talk. You just need to get directly to the point. And I like that they both did that. And this is one of my favorite songs. So we at 4 right now.
Yeah.
If you count, you know what I mean. So rock with this heavy.
Yeah, and now we're gonna make a even more of a shift in the album. The rest of the songs are more relationship hip hop, which I think Fab handles like great. And then the features that he got throughout here are people who tackle it great with him. Even on this first song, Dice Pineapples featuring Cassie and Trey Songz. Trey Songz at the end of the song is more of like he's just talking, but it still sounds smooth. You know what I mean? He ain't much really singing like he usually do, but that's enough. So what did you think of this song?
Yo, I thought it was on par with every other collab they've ever done. Like these dudes don't miss. Like this is like an underrated little rapper / R&B duo that never really miss in terms of what they do. So I enjoyed Dice Pineapples. It kind of felt I don't know what these guys, and I hate that I forget, but you know how Rick Ross makes these type of records. You know what I mean? In terms of just that real laid back vibe, bossed up vibe, and he creates that
Mhm.
larger than life persona and talks about relationships and shit like that when he gets into that type of bag. So that's what this song reminded me about listening back to it currently in current time. And I remember back then, same thing. So I always was like, man, I love hearing Fab on these type of records, you know what I mean, and doing what he did. So this is another one that's a keeper for me. Not one of my favorite songs on the project, but definitely, I rock with it in terms of where it fits in the project.
All right, and then to close out, man, the next two
Yes.
songs, man, he went and got Wale for Beauty, and then he got Joe Budden for Wont You Back, and start off with the Wale, the Beauty. You got two of the best people who make relationship type, real type hip hop. That can float in both lanes. So I think this definitely opened up to his female audience a little bit. This is songs that they're gonna go to, especially like on the Trey Songz as well on the one before that. This one, I mean, it's all relationship bars, so I ain't gonna sit here and just like quote any of them, like kind of repeating them, but they all hit though. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And we all go through them. And I like that Fab, Wale, and Joe Budden, the guys that you're talking about in particular, and, add Trey Songz to it. They all tackle relationship issues from the standpoint of they're close in age to us or a little bit younger, depending on which one of the guys you're talking about. But I say all that to say that they approach those relationship things kind of how we approach them and things that we've been through and things that we all can relate to, and they're vulnerable at the same time. So that's why I think this run that we're on at this point in the mixtape is fire, because like you're getting different perspectives. You're getting the R&B perspective. You're getting Wale, the more poetic one of the three, and then you're getting Joe Budden in the next up track. So yeah, I definitely rock with this Wale track feature.
Yeah, and then on the final song, "Won't You Back" featuring Joe Budden's got the "Won't You Back," just going on in the background, just speaking to you the whole time, and then the the part that gets me on here that I love and I keep rewinding every time on this one, because even though we talk relationship, the way he kind of intertwined this one, the Derrick Rose love piece that
Oh,
he
you
kind of
ain't
went on,
Derrick Rose.
yeah. But
Yeah.
how he's kind of like wording it up in there, I guess I'll run it down. He's like, when you cross me, you lost me. Now, if I was guarding Derrick Rose, I would be more understanding, but you ain't Derrick Rose. You was my number one, his jersey number. You ain't Derrick Rose. You trying to make a point again. You ain't Derrick Rose.
Hmm.
Uh, and you just on some bullshit. You ain't Derrick Rose. So,
You know what came to
number
mind
one,
first?
point guard, Bulls. bam, how he kind of like intertwined all that. I just love that whole little thing, how he kept that going. So
You know what came to mind?
uh,
You wasn't with me shooting in the gym.
yeah.
Did that reference come out before this? I have to believe it's close. Like if it's 2012, I believe it's around close to that time. I gotta fact check it to be like, was that some type of motivation for that line? You never know. That's just conspiracy theory. Cash, right?
Hey, that's my lane. It's supposed to be for conspiracy press, not conspiracy
that's what I
cash.
was thinking when in that line. Like, I heard somebody say you was, though you wasn't with me or you ain't this, and referencing a ball player. But yeah, man, I was like, man, wonder if somebody got a inspiration from Fab, who does stuff as good as them when we talking about that relationship type rap. You know what I mean? He may do it a little differently than Fab, but they in that same lane when you're talking about it. So yeah. But also shout out to Tiana Taylor on this because she smoked it as well in terms of her part. And if y'all don't know Joe Budden, one of my favorite guys, let's just exclude everything else. Y'all can talk about how it podcast, who he is as a person, whatever. I'm talking about Joe Budden, the rapper. Rapper only. That man had some bars, man. That boy, he got the right guy to spit the introspective shit and the relationship shit. I think Ordinary.
Who had a good mixtape run of his own.
Exactly.
On this same type of in this same type of vein. You know what I mean? It was all on his like relationship stuff. What was the name of the mixtape series?
Mood Music, 1 through 4. Those are, the classic series that he's known for in terms of mixtapes. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna catch people like kind of doing a reference of saying like Joe Budden, he had that one hit. Yeah, he had one hit song, but he had other stuff that kept everybody's attention. The Mood Music series like was one of those main things that kind of kept him afloat, and where we was able to recognize him, and then of course later on joining the Slaughterhouse, like everybody respected his pen, obviously. So if you're wondering like how did Joe Budden, if you're late to the start, you just reading the comments on their shows and stuff, like he had one hit, whatever. Like no, he had more than that. But you got to be part of it. You got to be going through life at the time to kind of understand it.
Yeah. I mean, pretty much. I mean, you could liken it to a lot of rappers that do it right now, Prez, in terms of just they may not come out with a certain record or have the most fanfare, but they have a long-lasting career and go through a lot of ups and downs, and that's exactly what Joe did, man. So, but this ain't a Joe Budden thing. This is a Fabolous thing. This is the Soul Tape 2 thing, man. Dope short mixtape that really, really has Fabolous kind of that's why people feel a certain type of way about Fabolous. Like the albums may not be everything that we all want in terms of all the type of fans that he reaches out to. But this Fabolous right here, man, not to be fucked with, man. Not to be fucked with, in my opinion.
Yeah. And this came about, just us going through like our music catalog, and we talk constantly about this stuff, and like sometimes you gotta be like, hey, what you been listening to? Well, Cash, I've been going back to this. He was like, oh, I need to go back to that as well. Let me throw that back on, and then once you get it, you're like, man, this is it, man. Maybe we need to open up the conversation for everybody else, and that's what we're kind of allowing on this right here. Open up the conversation. What was your thoughts on the album? Soul Tape. Which was this your favorite one of the series? This is ours, obviously, as we talking about it. But what was your favorite volume of the Soul Tape? And then what about was you a fan of the Summertime Shootouts? And it's I feel like it's really a tragedy, a travesty right now that this ain't on the DSPs, because I think this kind of like this is the Fab I like to recommend to people and everything. So, but hey, it's still out there on the mixtape sites and stuff like that. Shout out to that Piff, that's still running, and you can still go get the album. So, I done went back to several mixtape that I was looking on there that they still have that on there. So, not sponsored or nothing like that, but I mean, like that's kind of where I still go find my music. People kind of forget that it's still out there. So,
yeah, this is my favorite one by far, man. In terms of the Soul Tape series. I also like the Summertime Shootouts. Not every last one of them as much, but I still listen to them. So then he had the
Young OG project that came out.
Young OG project that I liked a lot. So he's had he's had his stays and stuff like that, and I just like his music, man. So like, I don't think he had the Freddie vs. Jason with Kiss. That shit was fire. And then he had the that run that he went on randomly a couple years ago to where he just started dropping freestyles every Friday. And then all of a sudden he kind of probably did a few Fridays in a row, took off a few Fridays, then came back with a whole mixtape of nothing but freestyles. And he restored that feeling for that time. I think Kiss was doing it too. You know, somebody else, I think it was Kiss too. And
him and Kiss had that album together too, Freddie versus Jason.
Right.
So.
But it was at a point they was doing them freestyles on, and then Fab put it together. It has like a, but anyway, Clue hosted it and everything like that. And this was like fairly recently, like within the last 6 years or so when Fab did this. So, that was a dope moment too. So Fab has a lot of his mixtape runs and highlights from mixtapes, man. And if you rock with him, you already know that. So this was just like kind of the, cream. This is one of his best mixtapes, I would probably say. If you summertime shootouts, just depending on who you are, I think one of those would be number 2 in terms of just full bodies of work with all new material, entering this new phase that we entered, as we said earlier in the podcast, in terms of just artists really doing a thing with original material. So this would be one for me. I'm kind of on summertime shootouts. 2 would probably be. It's like all of them is the second one for me for some reason. It just seemed like he got it right the second time, every single time. The first time was enough to draw me in and be like, okay, I like what he's doing with this. And then, same thing with Meek Mill, man. Like, you know what I mean? Like with his mixtape run as well. So yeah, something about the second time they get it right.
Yeah. Man, so funny Fab story. We'll end with this right here, man. Well, hold up. One more thing. So this was 2012. You was in Germany at this time too, right? Weren't we both in Germany?
I was in Germany.
Yeah, didn't he? Like he was coming to the club playing off this album too, right?
Yep.
I think he came to the club a couple times out there. So yeah, I think we seen him. I think it was Orange Club or whatever that was called.
Oh yeah, we did see Fab. We did see Fab out there. Yep. And a few of our friends was acting like male groupies. I ain't gonna say no names.
But it was a good time, man. Smaller venue, so you get to cost a little bit more to get there, but it was a smaller venue, so those are all good times. Like getting to see the artist perform at that level. Shorter because it's at a club. It was short because it was at a club.
It was
3 songs and out, bro. Yeah,
the bag dip.
Yeah. All right, but I end with this funny story, man. So like as when Fab was first coming out, man, like in 2001, man, this is like when I was doing basic training. And that's when they was doing that Harlem Shake and stuff like this on those songs. And I can't remember like the one of the guys who was up there singing the song, and like this is when basic training, you ain't supposed to be on the music, but the TI would set you up, you know what I mean, play the music and stuff like this, and he caught him singing, and then he made him drop immediately and started doing push-ups, right? And then he was like 1, 2, he was like no, I want you when you go down and come up.
Oh, hell no, man. Hell no. Oh,
so,
I remember
anytime I hear that, damn, like that always reminds me of that, man. Like it was hilarious watching.
Funny Fab story. I got a funny Fab story too. So I went to basic training, like maybe 2 weeks before 9/11, and I ain't know no better on what music or whatever I couldn't bring. We still had CDs at the time. You know what I mean? So I get the J album and Fab first album mailed to me by my girlfriend at the time. Shout out to you know who you are. And man, I looked at them covers, man. That's back in the day where you wanted to read the liner notes and everything that was in there. And, I just thought that in basic training, I could take out my CD player and listen to music whenever we wasn't doing anything. I don't know what made me think I could do that and just sit back and listen to Blueprint and Fab's first album, man. So yeah, man, I was like, but I was hot the whole entire time. Like I'm calling home and people talking about, yo, you heard the Blueprint? Yo, that's a classic. And, like I couldn't hear it for fucking 6 weeks. So I was hot, bro. I was hot. So, but yeah, and Fab album too. So I was a big fan of those guys. And last but not least, what I wanted to mention is there is no competition that's the other mixtape series of Fabs that I really enjoy. You know what I'm saying? So they got a part 1, 2, and 3 to that, I believe. And then Friday Night Freestyles, I pulled it up. Friday Night Freestyles is the other freestyle tape I was talking about. If y'all want to go check those out.
Yeah, man. My roommate still give me like my roommate at the time when I was in because I was out of basic training at that point when Blueprint dropped. And I was in the tech school, and 9/11 happened. But I was asking Fred, "Hey, you think the B.I.G still open? No, gotta go get this J."
Oh man, I got nothing, man. I got nothing. I don't want to add on to. I don't want to add on to your blasphemy, man. I cannot, man.
Yeah,
but yeah, man. That's
great to revisit this album, though. Like I said, y'all go check it out. Let us know what you think in the comments. Let us know what was your favorite song on here, or do you think or do you have another Fab project that you kind of herald a lot more? But this is like the one that when I'm introducing somebody ain't heard Fab or want to downplay what he does, this is the mixtape album, whatever. I'm going to toss at them, say, hey, go listen to this, and before you say all that,
Yeah. And again, make sure if this is the type of content that y'all like from us, y'all like us kicking back, sitting back, talking about old mixtapes that were fire back in the day, please like, share, subscribe, share it with people that rock with these type of mixtapes and stuff like that. And we're gonna hit a lot of different areas all across, the U.S. and as far as mixtapes go. So we got a Lil Wayne mixtape. We ain't gonna tell you which one is gonna be. It may not be the one that you're thinking, you know what I mean? Because me and Prez do this shit. But we are opening it up to, we want to hear some suggestions, man. There may be some stuff that we haven't even listened to in a while that we like, oh, yeah, that was a classic. So if it's a mixtape, drop it on us, man. We going to keep this series going. We're going to do our best to do it. We're going to give you more content, more dope content, more unique content, because I don't know if everybody's really doing and going back and listening to these joints. So we enjoy doing it, man. So with that said, man, I'm Cash, aka Exec P. This is the bonus episode. Hope y'all had a great Labor Day. Get back to it. Again, share, subscribe, comment, do all that good stuff to keep the algorithms rhythmic.
Never seeking approval, goal shifting. For the fam, I do the heavy lifting. Never hated. False promises, I don't say shit just to really say shit. All that bro shit ain't nothing to play with. Fake love when dudes really be shading. Don't LOL, them real feelings displaying. All my life.